Hi, this is JP Morgan, and this is Lars Lindstrom, and it's time once again for Trends from the Trenches. It doesn't feel like a month. It's been a month.
It does.
Actually, it does feel like it's been a month. It's been a very long month.
Good. It's been a good month.
It has. It has. Lars got married.
I did. 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Yep. And you got married, and how many weddings did you shoot this last month?
I shot 6.
6 weddings, and you got married.
And I got married.
And you went on vacation for a week.
I did. A honeymoon.
So
it has been
busy.
very
Plus,
busy
I'm sure
month.
you shot other things as well.
Yeah, I just wrapped up all of our interviews for this feature documentary that I'm doing in town. I'm shooting a rum commercial tonight. Yeah.
Of course you are.
I know. Hey, you know what? You can't choose them, but you're always happy when they come. So, and then what else am I doing this month? I did a lot.
Yeah.
Is the short answer. Yeah.
Well, I've been swamped as well. A lot of commercials. Pocket Holes was last week. Then this month was Miss Whiz, very interesting device, and we're shooting one right now called Mini Binny, which is another interesting product. So a lot of kind of internet commercials that they're running like 2 minutes and 30 seconds, but they're written by Joel Ackerman. They're very funny. The guy who did Poopery. So they're very funny, kind of wacky, very funny stuff. So. Just been a ton of things going on. It just feels like it never ends.
So I'm curious, are these all different clients?
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. Some of them will be for the same client, but then like Mini Bidding is a different client than the ones, the Miss Whiz and the Pocket Hose.
Okay.
So, and proof of,
and they're just all finding you because of Poopery, or finding Joel because of Poopery?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's his kind of clientele he's developed, and so we're co-directing them. And I'm DPing them, and it's just been a lot of fun. I mean, it's a lot of fun. It really is.
I've seen some stills from the sets, and it's cracking me up. It looks hysterical. So
we tweeted out last week: "Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil, tweet no evil."
Oh yeah,
that was our image. So it was a mummy, Indiana Jones, and another gal. So
awesome.
But anyway, lots of things going on. There's several things I want to talk about today. First off, I want everyone to realize that we're posting this on iTunes as a podcast, and we'll continue to do that. So if you're driving the car or whatever, you'll be able to listen to it as you're on the go. And I think that'll be valuable, and hopefully people will enjoy that thought. So
yes, just go ahead and go to iTunes. Check it out.
Check it out. Slanted Lens, Trends from the Trenches.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Lars started into a conversation before we started, so I want to kind of pick that up. Marketing is always a huge issue for photographers. They're always trying to find a way to get their stuff out there. Videographers are the same world. I talked to someone yesterday who's going, I'm just in the world of always trying to find work, which is really what it is. But you're finding huge success on the blogs and getting your wedding videos on blogs. So tell us about how that's working.
Photographers, the photography world for weddings is interesting because I feel like they can develop a clientele based on word of mouth a lot better than video can. And I don't know why that is. Maybe it's just because I'm terrible at my customer service, which might be true. But I hope not. But
you've got to fix that if that's the case.
I know, exactly. I know. That's probably one of the most important things. But,
oh, yeah. Every client should give you 2 or 3 more. Mm-hmm. That's your goal.
Yeah. But I think, with all the other videographers and photographers I've talked to, photo really, they're just able to build their business based on word of mouth. But the thing that's worked best for me is actually being featured on different wedding blogs. So, I mean, we've got The Knot, Wedding Wire, and Ruffled, and Green Wedding Shoes. I mean, those are some of the top wedding blogs. And when I hear, oh, guess what? Probably from the clientele, hey, guess what? Like, we submitted our wedding to Ruffled. I know I'm going to get a lot of views and a lot of work potentially from that blog. I had one. The elopement that I shot in Arizona, the one where I met my now wife, which is crazy. That one did get featured on Ruffled, and I got about 10,000 views on that video. And not all of them came from Ruffled, but a lot of them did. So that's one of the things, when you're featured on a wedding blog, you'd be amazed how much work you get from it.
So how do you choose, how do you know what are the cool blogs or what's going to work out there? Or how do you get them to select your video? Just because they love it, or what is it?
There's a couple of different ways. Either one, you can go through the client. So you send the wedding video to the client. They love it. They post it with their photos. They send it to a bunch of blogs because they want it. It's cool for them to be able to post to Facebook. Hey, look, this was our wedding, and now it's featured on this amazing blog, and people are commenting, and it's really exciting. And then the other way is for you, as the vendor, to take your wedding and submit it and say, hey, here's a cool wedding that I did, and if you contact the photographer so-and-so, you can get photos for this wedding.
So help me understand the blog. The blog is set up to be a trying to get people to just see cool wedding videos, or to find their wedding videographer? I mean, what's the purpose of the blog site?
It is an amazing network. I mean, you would be amazed how many people who aren't even close to getting married, who have no interest in actually getting married, follow these blogs, because people love love. They just love it. They love to see people happy, and it's beautiful photos and beautiful locations. They want DIY tips and tricks that they're not ever going to use. They just love being involved in this community, this network. And so, you know, and of course there's people that are going to just get ideas for their weddings that are coming up. You've got more business blogs that are, you know, like Wedding Wire or The Knot, but has a list of vendors, and you pay for advertising if you're a vendor, and they say, you know, this is your one-stop shop to come, and you set up a profile, and you go through and you click and look at all these other vendors, and you build your wedding. And you know, that's a really effective way of doing it. But then you also have people that just, they have blogs, and their revenue is based off of ads that you see on the side, and you'd be amazed how much revenue they can make because people check it out. They're constantly on there.
So the next question, though, is if you go to those kinds of blogs, you've got to obviously be okay with flying to wherever.
Yeah.
Because people are going to find you from all over the world, right?
Yeah. And that's true, you know, and I have flown to a few different places. I've been to Italy, I've been to Sacramento, I've been to New York, I've been to Arizona, for example. I mean,
I love how it goes, Italy, Sacramento.
Just go,
hot spots of the world.
Italy, New York. I'm trying to think. Just work my way back west. Let's say I did one in Atlanta, and a couple in Utah, a couple in Idaho. I mean, yeah, and Washington. So I've been a couple different places now, and it's a fun thing, you know. And sometimes there is a budget that allows for it, and I'll try to work out a deal, you know, because I understand that you've got my price, which is it's competitive. But then they're also having to include hotels and flights and travel, you know, in the car. Yeah, so it gets expensive, but if they love the work, then they'll do it.
Well, it just comes back to the marketing, and we'll wrap this thought about marketing up with this. I think marketing is based around, one, creating a good product. And they say good advertising puts a bad product out of business faster. So you got to have a good product. And two, you've got to really get it out there into the social media world. You've got to find different places to be able to try to get it exposure with the product that you have. And these kinds of blog sites?
Blogs.
These kind of blogs are a great place to do that. I think they'll service, and talking about getting a person to, you know, to refer you, I think it's so important. Just service. Just they feel like that they are just overwhelmed with how amazing your service is, and they really want to refer you to someone else. They say, you know, this guy was great. He was there. He was a part of the process. He didn't, you know, make us, you know, conform to him. He really did the things to make this a great event and delivered everything on time. And there you go.
Yeah.
But anyway. That's a whole, I mean, we talk about images in photography. There are so many photographers out there, you know, that's the exact quote. I was in a meeting last night, and the person said, well, but there's a lot of people who have nice cameras, so we could just get pictures of everyone. We really don't need to hire somebody. Everyone's got nice cameras, photography. So you're competing with that. So you really compete on the level of service and experience, and you know what the person experiences, not your experience, but what they experience when they're with you. Yeah. All those things are pretty valuable. Well, all right.
Speaking of nice cameras, yeah, I think we should talk a little bit more about this GH4, the Panasonic camera that's come out.
And kind of the buzz right now.
It's kind of the buzz, and everything I've seen, of course, right now all I've seen is test footage.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, you start looking at all this test footage, and it's like saying a word over and over and over again, where you say, like, if you choose the word like magic, and you say it 30 times, suddenly you have no idea what you're saying. So I feel like that's how I feel about test footage every once in a while. So I've got this GH4 camera that just came out, and it's 4K, a micro four thirds sensor, so it's a 2-time crop. But all the test footage looks incredibly sharp. I mean, like mind-blowing sharpness coming out of this camera.
It's a 4K, right?
Well, it's 4K, and then they're downsampling to 1080 so they can show actual tests with some of these 1080 cameras. The one that I did see was a shootout between the GH4 and my beloved C100, Canon C100 camera. And like I said, I'm very, very, very happy and satisfied, as I've mentioned before 100 times, with the C100. And I'm very happy with the purchase, and I wouldn't do it any other way. However, the images were sharper on the GH4. They were sharper. But at
Well,
what point?
Have to be.
Yeah. Just because you're 4K and you're downsampling, and
I mean, you're throwing out a lot. It just has to be.
yeah. But at what point is sharp too sharp? And I know we've talked about that too. But really, you start to, like, you talk to DPs, and if they're shooting a scene with 2 people and they're doing over the shoulders or whatever, it's very rare that they'll shoot higher than a 4.0 aperture. Very rare. So a lot of them are 2.8, and if they have super speeds, they want to be at a 2.0, and they just want to go down, down, down because they love that soft, shallow depth of field. And I do too. There's a cinematic appeal to it. And so at what point is sharp just kind of tacky?
I don't know. I feel like what we've done is we went from the world of shooting film, which was so soft and so grainy and just so wonderful, just a beautiful experience, to then we had video that was so crisp and so clear, and everyone's going, oh, that's awful.
Yeah.
But now we slowly worked our way back to really sharp video again.
Yeah.
And somehow that's become appealing. I love shallow depth of field. I love that kind of dreamy feel, absolutely. So, and I said this before, my wife retouches for Fox television. She retouches a lot of the TV shows. It drives her crazy when someone will shoot still images on a Hasselblad, and they're so sharp that she just spends hours trying to clean up all the stuff on this person's face that they were able to show you because it's so sharp, but the reality is it didn't help the image, didn't make it a better image, it actually made it so that it had to be cleaned up and fixed later. So, yeah. I don't know. Sharpness to a point, but we know we're going to 4Ks. I mean, I see them. I go to the mall and the new Sony TVs are all over the place with the 4K TVs. The ads are everywhere, and that's so because we can.
Because we can.
8K.
You think so? You think there'll ever be a point when it's like, you know what, see this entire wall on this living room? Let's just fill that with a big screen. 8K, exactly. 8K TV. I don't know.
I don't either.
I don't know. We were talking, now I want a medium format, or like a 65 or 70 millimeter digital camera, DSLR style thing. Where you put on those old Hasselblad 80 millimeter lenses and you got a 40 millimeter.
I got a whole box of those things.
Do you?
Oh, every Hasselblad lens,
oh,
man. I shot on the Hasselblads my entire career. You got the C100 to the C5, or to the, not C100, C500 to the ELM, which was their motor drive. I have all those cameras.
Do you have the Hasselblad cameras? The medium format cameras?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Sell me one.
I'm a still photographer. What would you even do with a Hasselblad if I sold you one?
I've got these friends, they're photographers, and they've got these digital cameras, of course, but they also have all these 35 millimeter film cameras, and they've got some medium format cameras. And I asked them, how often do you shoot film? Do you shoot film for your weddings? They said, no, not at all. What we do is we go on vacation with our kids, and we bring out the 35 millimeter film cameras, and we only use the 35 millimeter film cameras. And then every once in a while for their weddings, they'll do like a roll of 16 shots.
Roll of 16, yeah.
Mm-hmm. What is it, 220
it's actually 12.
or 120? Okay, yeah, whatever it is on the 645s.
Oh, you're talking about the 645,
yeah.
The RZ?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
And so, I think it's a 16.
Yeah.
And so, but the reason they do that is because they process the film. They go to Walgreens and they print out the actual film so they can put it up on their walls and say, hey, look, remember when? Because I can't tell you, I shoot lots of photos, but I never print them out. They fill up on a hard drive, and then I put the hard drive in storage when it's full, and if I need it, I'll go get it. But I never print them out. I never look at the images.
This reminds me of Amanda Reed, the portrait photographer in South Carolina. She will look at a person's house, and she'll have them send pictures to her of their house walls, and she'll design a collage of 8 or 10 frames that goes on this wall, and then she shoots images to go in those frames for them. They put them all up. Now, she's created wall space, and every year or so, let's put new pictures in your frames.
Oh.
She can do another set. Look, your son's now a year older. Let's do new pictures for the frames that we put up in their room, or so. So, I think she's a genius, actually.
That's
marketing
really
wise,
smart.
So she's created her market, and she creates her wall space. She claims her wall space, which is most people are starting to just shoot and burn, give them the images, walk away.
Yep.
But the print idea of making prints, is that coming back?
I think it might be. Because that's what...
Picture albums? We're going to have picture albums again?
I don't think so. Picture albums, because you stick that on a shelf. It's for the wall, but you don't need 3,000 images in order to do that, So I think that's why they bring these little film cameras. And
that's true.
and they think about it and they go, you know what, that is a really pretty picture of my daughter. And then they print it out. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. But I want a medium format camera, like one of those 645s. I don't think I'll ever get a Hasselblad for what I do. I just don't need it. That's just way too much camera for me. But yeah, 645 with like an 80mm fixed lens, like that would be perfect, and I'd be stoked to just like when I show up on weddings and I'm doing wedding videos, I'd love to say, you know what, this is really pretty. Hang on one second, and get it all set up and just take an image. And then after I've got 16 of those, I'll develop them and I'll send them to them as a little thank you, you know, or something like that. Like here's a medium format print.
That's a great idea, actually. Yeah. As a little thank you.
Yeah.
That's great. Can you say hipster?
You do what you can. You do what you can. I think it's a good idea. What do you guys think? Post something in the comments.
You know, I think it probably is a good idea. Yeah. And just pulling out the cool camera, it's like that stands out, whereas all the other stuff that everyone has, now you have a camera that no one else has.
Yeah. And all of a sudden you go, hold on one second, we're going to stop everything so I can set up my my medium format film camera, and there we go, and it's this big thing, and it looks all vintage, and it'd be great. I think it'd be great.
That's cool.
Yeah, we're going to do it. What else?
I don't know. Well, I'm falling more and more in love with the Sony A7S. A7S, and the reason I am is because they have a hot shoe adapter that allows you to put XLR sound into it, and it's got the monitoring for the XLR on the side of the adapter. Kind of becomes, it fits on the hot shoe, just gives it great adaptability. It's a 4K camera. It's not a great still camera. It's a 12 megapixel camera, so I think it has some issues with regards to stills. If you're really shooting stills the way I have traditionally, you know, if you're doing it for a large format kind of reproduction, you're going to want something bigger than a 12 megapixel camera.
Really though? How big is that really? 12 megapixels.
Well, I started on a 12 megapixel camera, and when we shoot standees, you can't make a 6-foot print out of it.
Really? Okay.
No, it falls apart too much. So you got to have something a little bigger, a little better than 12 megapixels. If you want a full-size 6-foot print, it's got to be better. Even if you do some resampling and you sharpen and do all that kind of stuff, it's still...
But see, what makes the 12 megapixel great for video, though, is that those three, the RGB sensors that are able to detect individual pixels are able to be bigger. And so for video, that helps a lot with the ISO, the low noise. And so that's, I mean, we've mentioned that for the 409,000 ISO on this camera is just unreal. And it is. But it's also got for video focus peaking,
which I love,
zebras, and so you know some of these things.
Why did I buy another Mark III this morning?
I don't know. Why did you buy another Mark III this morning? I don't know what
I was thinking. Kate made me do it.
Yeah, that Kate. She's great, but man, she's
stuck on the Mark III. I'm gonna blame it all on her. I'm stuck on the Mark III. Yeah. It's the workflow. I've got 2 of them on set. It's a third one. It's just easy for me to keep everything the same. It's the same controls when I pick the camera up. Although I really, when the Sony A7S comes out, I'll probably buy one and start playing with that, because I'm curious about the 4K. And if it looks at all good, I'll probably buy a second one so you have an AV camera to work with. So.
My only holdup was the lack of an EF mount. But then we talked about the Metabones actually has the Sony mount to a Canon EF mount. So I've got all my Canon lenses, and for a $300 investment, one-time investment, I could pretty much use the A7S. And I don't know. You know what? I'll be honest. This mirrorless thing, it's starting to sound appealing. Because then I just got married, of course, as we mentioned, probably 3 or 4 times. I'm excited about it, if you couldn't tell. And my wife is going, let's bring your camera to Cancun. And I said, no, I don't want to bring this. Look at it. It's this giant thing, and then I got to put a 70-200 on it because I want things to look good, you know. And it's like, but before you know it, you're 6 pounds later. You don't want to haul this thing around.
And yet he wants to take a Hasselblad.
To my weddings, though. That's my clients. But so my point, though, is she's saying, let's get a smaller camera. It's one that we can just use on vacations. And we looked at a Fujifilm one that was really cool, some X100. It was like $1,000, and it was really neat. It was just this fixed 35 equivalent lens on their f2, and it's just a small pancake type thing, and you just take it around and you take your photos, and it weighs half a pound. And that sounds really appealing all of a sudden.
Look at the Sony. Look at the Sonys.
Okay.
That whole line of Sony cameras, they're full frame cameras, so you get great video with them. You buy a Sony lens with one of them if you're just going to be a second camera to run around with.
Yeah.
It's a great line of cameras. It is. Now, it's fascinating. We say mirrorless, not mirrorless. Pretty soon people aren't going to say mirrorless, not mirrorless. They're not going to say that anymore because it doesn't matter.
Yeah?
No. Huh. Why does it matter?
Size?
But in the quality of image, why does it matter whether there's a mirror or not?
The quality of image doesn't matter at all.
No, it doesn't matter at all. And so if it doesn't matter with the quality of image, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. You're right.
You know? So I think the whole mirrorless thing, pretty soon it'll just be the Sony camera, the GH, the Panasonic camera. It's just going to be about cameras and what kind of quality you get. I think it's about the sensor. I'm sticking with a full frame sensor. That's why I've never drank the C100 Kool-Aid yet. And so
I miss it. I do miss it. And here's every single time I'm on my glide cam with my Zeiss 21mm lens, I miss that full frame so much because I'm missing out on those lens flares. I don't, because I'm cropping in on it. I don't get those beautiful red circles on the edge of my image like I did on my 5D. And I miss. Which was part of your look. It was part of my look, exactly. And I just miss it. I miss it so much. And every once in a while, I put my 5D on my glide cam again, and I start to balance it, and I chicken out, and I go back to my C100.
Really?
Well, yeah, because it's that 422 color space over the 420 that if I'm doing an outdoor wedding shoot and I'm doing 360s and stuff on a glide cam, you've got a shadow side and you've got a sun side, and I need as much dynamic range as I can possibly get, and that 422, that little 2 at the end there really helps me pull that back.
Reality, what is that giving you compared to the Mark III? I mean, how much more open shadow are you getting with that?
A lot more. Because I come into Premiere and I open my Luma curves and I bring my Luma down from 100% to 90%, and you would just go, oh my gosh, like look at all information I just pulled back in. And then I push my mids a little bit, so I really open up the shadows, and then I crush my blacks, just give it a nice look. And you know, I'm telling you, I'm getting 12 to 13, maybe even 14 stops of dynamic range when I'm done with this thing.
You can't get 14 stops out of that thing.
After I do this color correction, you'd be amazed, and it still looks punchy, you know. And so, I don't know.
Okay, so we have to do a test that we put up on our website. We have to do an image with the C100, well, video with the C100, video with the Mark III, and let's see how much we can work on the Mark III to open it up and do the same with the C100. And let's put those two clips up and let's just see how they compare with each other. We should really get the Sony camera and the new Panasonic camera, the G.
Well, if we really should, then we should.
Well, then we better do it. So that's Lars's assignment for next transmission.
Okay. All right.
We should definitely do that, though. We should. I would love to see those cameras. The Panasonic, what is it? The
GH4.
GH4. I can't ever remember these names. The GH4, the Sony A7S. A7S. There we go. Just put your hand on my back. Make me talk.
It's the C100 next.
All right. The 5D Mark III. And the 5D Mark III. There we go. So put those four head to head, shoot a little footage of each of them, but see how much it's about dynamic range. That's what it's about.
I think so. I think that really is the big one here.
But you got two 4K cameras and two non-4K cameras, two 2K cameras.
But even the A7S doesn't record internally 4K.
No, you have to record out to a Ninja or
not a Ninja. I can't remember the name of it. I forgot it last time. It's not a Samurai. It's a
Atmos's. Atmos's is
start with an S. You know, the Japanese things. One of those.
Sumo.
Sumo.
It's a sumo.
A sumuro. Come on. It's 3 syllables. It might be a Shogun. 2 syllables. That's what I meant. I think
it is a Shogun.
Yeah.
I think it is a Shogun.
Yeah.
So you have to record out to a Shogun to get that 4K.
Yeah.
Whereas that's on the Sony. Yeah. What about the new Panasonic?
You can record internally 4K.
Yeah, but
they're saying though that the only good because that's an H.264 recording. They're saying though you got to get that external big thing that clips on the bottom of it. That'll get you a 422 ProRes 10-bit 4K file. Now that's smoking. Now we're talking.
But you're still micro four thirds.
Yep, always. That's the sensor.
All right. Well, I'm interested. So, are we going to look at them all in 2K then? Dynamic range in 2K?
1920 by 1080.
1920 by 1080. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So, Sony, send us a camera. Panasonic, send us a camera. Canon, we have all your cameras.
We've got them all.
We got them all. Why are
we
giving you so much money? You've never given us anything. Show us a little love, will you?
We'll stop hating on your name so much.
That's right.
When we have everything we shoot in Canon.
All right, well, anything else we should talk about?
I feel pretty good. What's
Yeah,
our
me
secret
too.
word for the day?
I can't think of anything funny. I'm thinking dynamic range, but that's not very dynamic.
No, it's not. Dynamic. I don't know. Do we need a secret word today? We need a secret word
We
today.
do. We need a secret word.
Okay.
Sumo.
Sumo. No,
Sumo.
Shogun.
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 Shogun is secret word of the day.
Shogun.
Shogun.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Put it in the comments and
Yep.
let us know if you are still watching, because that
Yeah.
would be very impressive.
It would be impressive. Hey, tell us in the comments, what do you want to hear from us? What is it that we're not talking about? What is it that you'd like to hear?
What are we talking too much
Yeah,
about?
what are we talking too much about? We're done with Lars's wedding. Never again.
I know.
He only gets married once, we hope. But what do you want to hear from us about? You know, what is on your mind? What would be interesting to talk about? We'll do a little research and we'll bring it up next month. So
Thanks for watching.
thanks for watching.
Or
Trench from the
listening
trenches.
on the podcast.
Or listening. That's right, on that podcast. This month on the Slanted Lens, we're giving away 2 portable speedlight kits. This is 2 small octadomes, 2 stands, 2 brackets to be able to set up your speedlights, put it in the octadome, and 2 of the speed rings to be able to set up your octadomes. It comes in this great carrying case, so it all goes together. You can put your speedlights in there and you're ready to go. So we're giving away 2 of these. Go to theslantedlens.com. Make sure you sign up to win a portable speedlight kit. We're also selling this portable speedlight kit at theslantedlens.com. It'll be at B&H prices, and we'll throw in free a digital download of our DVD series called Mastering Strobes. Great information, $79 value. We're going to add it to this kit if you buy it from theslantedlens.com. So make sure you sign up to win, and if you don't win, make sure you purchase it from theslantedlens.com.